Greetings and welcome to the Ganru Show. I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this is a podcast that's just like hanging out with your two best ghoul friends.
It's like drinking the blood of a millennial virgin who has a diet of acai bowls and avocado toast.
It's like being able to eat whatever you like because you will never gain weight again because you're dead and a ghoul.
Yeah, no Weight Watchers for you.
Sorry, Oprah.
It's like sleeping the sleep of the dead for 100 years uninterrupted in my crypt to wake up to a million text messages. What's up? What's up with WhatsApp?
Oh. So today we're going to do a podcast that centers around Halloween.
All ghost stories.
So
If you're not too afraid,
let's get started. One of my favorite segments is where Wanru and I catch up with what's happening in each other's lives. And it's a segment we like to call Girl, What You Been Up To? So Wanru, girl, what you been up to? Catch me up.
Girl, I've been taking all kinds of dance classes I got no business taking.
Oh, like what?
Okay, for example,
Yes.
by the way, just for those of you at home, I'm sure everybody knows this about me already. I have had zero dance training as a child or as a teenager, minimally as an adult. In my whole life, I've had probably, I don't know, a month or 2 months total of dance training.
I would never have known that about you, Wanru, because you are so graceful. You're like a swan gliding on a lake.
Oh, wow.
That's how you are at all times.
Oh, wow. Is that how
Getting out of your car,
Really?
walking down the street,
Getting...
walking down the hallway to the bathroom. You're like a swan.
Thank you so much.
I would not have known that you did not have any formal training, dance training.
Well,
So there you go. Is it too much buildup?
I know it's too much built up. I didn't know that's how it was being perceived.
Yeah. See?
But in these dance classes, maybe in real life I'm very elegant, but in these dance classes, I'm more like an armadillo
Oh.
or a rhinoceros.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
the two classes I took recently are pole dance.
What?
Girl, I took a pole dance class.
Let me just clarify. You said pole dance, so this is not a Polish dance.
No.
This is like Jennifer Lopez
Yes.
pole
Oh,
dancing.
this ties in perfectly with the Hustler movie that's
Yeah.
coming out. Yeah, pole
Oh,
dance.
it's out. It's out already.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, totally ties into that, but don't expect Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
More expect maybe a Queen Latifah.
Hey, she's pretty
she
graceful
can
though.
dance? She's graceful.
She's very.
Oh,
I love me
God.
some Latifah.
Okay, all right.
Peace,
Bernie
word.
Mac. Bernie Mac. Rest
Oh,
in peace.
may he rest. Maybe
Rest-
not a
rest in
good.
peace.
Not a good reference.
Okay, I will.
Anyway.
I will double back on the pole dancing.
Okay.
Which is again, it's based on stripper style dancing.
Okay.
And I also took a class called Dancing in Heels. Although my coworker who invited me to it kept calling it Dancing in Heels.
Dancing in where?
In heels.
In Fox Hills?
No, in heels. Dancing in heels.
Dancing in Beverly Hills.
No. Dancing in heels, Golda.
Dancing in Laguna Hills.
No, in Red Hills.
Ooh, where's that at? Is that Northern California?
Anyways, you can see what it's just. This went on for like 20 minutes, but it's a
Dancing in
heels class.
Oh, heels.
Like in high heels.
Oh, how
Yeah.
high are these heels?
It's up to you. You bring the heels that you want. Some girls in my
Ooh.
class were they're wearing
Okay.
like stripper platforms. Some girls were wearing modest heels, like myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
but
acrylic heels?
you can wear those.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can also, I guess, get some. What are some
Platform.
grandma heels?
Orthopedic heels?
Yeah.
Maybe some Dr. Scholl's heels.
That's what I wish I had. So I brought these lowish heels, but they were like cutting into my feet so bad. Because
Ooh.
imagine doing hip hop. It's actually a hip hop class. Imagine doing that in heels and these like straps are cutting into your feet.
Yeah.
So what I did the most grandma-ish thing possible.
Yeah.
I wore them with socks.
Nice.
With my Reebok athletic socks, because that's what I had in my bag.
Okay. There's no shame in that.
Oh God! At the point, I didn't care. My feet were killing
aren't
me.
you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. So, what is the purpose of a dance class where you are in heels?
Exactly. What is the purpose?
What sort of anti-feminist shackles kind of class is this? The hell?
Okay.
Why do you have to be in heels?
So
why can't you be in slippers
wait, in what?
or flip flops?
You're saying it now. What did you say? Why do you gotta be in heels?
Yeah, why do you gotta be in heels? Why can't you just be in flip flops or some Birkenstocks
or a memory foam slippers or something?
Maybe some ballet flats. Something comfy.
Okay.
What's the
first
point?
of all, I don't want to get into the whole history of feminism or whatever, all that. Okay, this was just something I was like, I'll try
Something
it.
fun.
Something fun.
Okay.
All those classes are definitely meant to help you to, in their words, start feeling yourself. I mean, sometimes literally, because you're like rubbing your hands over your body, but it's more like, to get into your sensuality, move your body in provocative and sensual ways. But
because your feet are hurting. That's how I feel myself. I feel myself.
You feel the pain in your bunion. That's why you're starting to feel yourself.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So
here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's, in my mind, it's for fun. It's also great for being creative. It's good exercise. Quote unquote exercise. It's good for working on your sensuality, especially if you're not comfortable with your body.
Okay.
And actually, it's very women empowering because the whole class is generally women.
Okay.
It's all women, so you're comfortable.
But I'm sure men can also join if they so wish.
Absolutely. There were 3 people in my dancing and heels.
Or non-binary. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 gentlemen. I'll just say from the outside. I'm not sure how they would depict themselves, and they were amazing in the class.
Wow.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So what I learned from. Okay, I'll break each one down. Both were super fun. But the dancing in heels class was more like an intro to hip hop class.
Okay.
And, some people have just a natural ability to express themselves through rhythm and motion.
Yeah.
And I'm very clinical about it.
Tell me explain.
Okay, so
tell me more.
So example, in the dancing in heels class, there's this move where you go bam, bam, left leg, right leg. You touch your right leg and you stroke upwards and you throw your head back.
Okay.
And the girls who did it, so for those of you who are watching on the YouTube, you can watch me. The girls who did it, they would bam, bam, left foot, right foot, touch their leg, stroke up, and they throw their hair back very sensually, like bam.
Okay.
And just Golda, describe how I'm throwing my hair back.
She's opening her eyes and her mouth and then flipping her hair back with her mouth being the guiding light.
What?
I don't know. I'm not a writer.
Okay, there's some.
I can't witness a crime because I'm not very. I've said this once. I'll say it again. I can't witness a crime, and I can't work for the CIA because I'm horrible at details. Anyway,
it was like, who's the man that dropped the bomb off?
I don't know. Was it a man? No idea.
I was too busy looking at my, Starbucks coffee that I was drinking at that moment. But anyways, regardless. So, and I was like, I swear to God, I look like Shirley Temple. I was like, left foot, right foot, pose. Left foot, right foot, pose. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Boom, boom. So I was hitting all the marks, but without sensuality.
I see.
I didn't have that, sexiness about it. I was very I want to get the steps right. Am I on count? 2, 3, 4. I'm a little teapot. My moves were
You're bouncy. You're probably bouncy.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're supposed to be svelte.
Exactly.
Like silk.
I was supposed to be languid and fluid, and I was very show choir. Yeah, that's it. I was very show choir. But I loved it. It was great exercise. All the hallmarks of a classic dance class. basically the teacher teaches it you at half the rate, like half speed.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can get this. Shoulder, leg, touch, move, and turn. I got that. Then she's like, all right, guys, regular speed. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And then you kind of like you're doubling the pace.
Yeah.
So that's a classic.
Fun.
But it's fun.
It's fun. Did you feel like you got a good workout?
Oh my God, I was
Were
sweating.
you sweating?
My God, sweating from panic, from not knowing the routine, and also sweating from the movements as well. And yeah, I loved it. So much fun. I'd do it again.
Yeah.
I would do probably a normal hip hop class so I could wear like tennis shoes.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing that you took away from these classes?
Have fun.
How to have fun?
Have fun. You can make it look really good without actually knowing the steps.
I'm curious if the choreography or the steps that you learned in either of these classes you translated in real life somewhere. Did that happen maybe?
I certainly wasn't stroking my leg like, picking up a piece of paper that fell out of the copy machine.
Oh, I see. Or at the farmer's market asking for a bag of blueberries. Did you whip your hair?
Whip your hair back.
Whip it.
1 pint back. Can I have whip?
But now you can appreciate how it's kind of like a job, right?
Oh,
like
man.
so the folks that are, exotic dancers, for example.
Or Beyonce.
Oh boy.
Beyonce. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's like level 1,000,000. I'm like level 1. She's a level 1,000,000.
Or it can bring it totally old school and go back to even as far as Ginger Rogers.
Oh, yes.
And Fred Astaire. What is that quote that she said, where everyone's raving about Fred Astaire? And I think her comment was, I did everything Fred Astaire did, but backwards and in heels. So it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Respect, Ginger Rogers.
Respect.
Old school terminology and reference. Well, that's great. How fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, and lastly, the pole dancing class.
Yeah. How was that?
Was also very fun. It's about sensuality.
Yeah.
And it's about gripping the pole. But let me just tell you.
Gripping the pole?
The metal pole?
Can I ask you a purely clinical question?
Sure, go ahead.
Prior to using the pole, I would imagine a dance room with multi-poles situated for every student. Yeah. Did they come pre-sanitized?
Great question. Sanitization of the pole is essential for good pole hygiene. We sanitize before the class and after, both.
There's a job for you, right? Is the pole sanitizing technician for these classes.
Just with a bottle of Lysol and a rag ready to go, right?
Wow, man. I would imagine it would be something a little bit more hardcore, like some serious white vinegar with lemon and baking soda action. Yeah, really sanitize that sucker.
Just isopropyl alcohol.
Okay.
All
right.
So here's the thing about the pole. The pole is unforgiving. Okay. The pole is metal. It's slippery. And if you have one drop of perspiration on your hand, you start slipping.
Oh.
So, you're in this class. It's really hot. And
workers' comp.
Really?
Yeah.
And you grip the pole.
Yeah. If you have an accident.
Absolutely.
On the job.
Except that you decided to sign up for the class. So what? How are you going to get workers' comp?
Well, you can get no, you can't. Anyway, move on.
Strippers can.
You can.
Strippers can, right?
Strippers can.
Yeah. So it's all about pole grip management, right? So what happens is if there's even one drop of sweat on your hand, you grab it and it's like and then you're on the ground.
And the sexiness
is eliminated.
Angle is not so much.
It's canceling out.
Okay.
It's the sexiness. Then what happens is they have this product you can make your hand more tacky with. It's called dry hands.
Oh.
But then now you stick. So instead of twirling, it's like clunk. You're on the ground.
Oh no. It's a tricky sort of chemistry that you need to get going there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyways, regardless, it was super fun.
Yay.
And I don't know if you're going to see me in the background of Hustlers anytime soon.
What's Hustlers? Oh, the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay.
You won't see my debut at any Spearmint Rhino or other strip club anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
But you know what? When I'm going to say when, throwing it out in the universe, when you meet Jennifer Lopez,
yes,
and
Constance Wu
and Jennifer Beals, Flash dance, hey,
Hey.
respect, old school. Then now you have a really wonderful, topic that you can talk to them about.
Yeah.
You
How to
know?
sanitize your pole.
Yeah. Like, what do you use?
What do you use?
Purell? No, not good enough. Do you chalk your hands beforehand?
Exactly. So
All
mad
kinds of
respect.
stuff. Yeah.
Mad respect because they make it look easy.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
Yeah.
how fun. I think that, like when you look at the general population and the general population that wants to take a dance class, I think pole dancing is definitely a high art that you
It can
don't
be.
necessarily think about, right?
Mhm.
Because there's also another sort of take on pole dancing, which is burlesque,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Which is totally different, I would imagine. I
Mhm.
feel like pole dancing is very gymnastics
Oh,
based,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And just upper body strength.
Mhm.
That's a workout.
They're all athletes. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my girl. What you been up to?
Yeah.
Girl, what has Golda been up to?
Girl, I'm following up on one of the promises that I made in the summer shorts. One of the summer shorts episodes where I think it was the episode where we talked about how to have the best summer ever.
Yes.
And one of my tips was to learn something.
Oh my God.
So I think you're doing it. You
Yeah.
definitely pole dancing and dancing in hills. For me, what I decided to do to learn something is I decided to sign up for a class on how to write a TV pilot.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. So I signed up for this class. It's a phenomenal class. I've never taken anything like this before. And basically, the essence of the class is to learn all of the foundational things in order to write your own television pilot. Now, whether or not you decide to shop it around is entirely up to you, of course. But minimally, the actual exercise of going through it is amazing. And we're actually writing a pilot. It's not just an outline or pitching ideas. And for those of you who aren't aware of what a pilot is, whenever you see a TV show that is out there in the networks right now, usually they started with one introductory episode that which they called a pilot. And this pilot is where you learn what the story is about, who the characters are, what the tone of the show is, all that good stuff. So a lot is writing on that pilot. And many times, dependent on how well it's done, networks will pick it up. So hence Friends,
Mhm.
Frasier, This Is Us, Mad About You. I mean, just any show you can think of. Every show on television started with one pilot. So a lot is writing on it. So I've been taking the class
Mhm.
and I feel like it feels like a workout. Like, like your pole dancing and
Oh, right.
and your dancing in hills is a workout. This is sort of a creative workout for myself,
Mhm.
and I feel like I'm dusting off a lot of juices. Do juices have dust? Well, I'm dusting off, some talent, I guess,
Yeah.
that was kind of
How about
hanging
this?
out.
I was exercising muscles I haven't used before, and so were you.
There you go. She's gonna write my pilot.
No,
She's gonna wordsmith it. She's
I'm
gonna make
actually
it. She's gonna
her
doctor it.
I'm her ghostwriter.
Totally my ghostwriter.
All of a sudden, her pilot becomes about strippers. All of a sudden, how did that happen, Wanru? But can you tell us a little bit more, or is it top secret?
It's kind of top secret. But what I will say is that with this class, I've definitely started to watch a lot of old pilots that are out there. So I watched the Mad Men pilot, which is phenomenal. Rewatched Breaking Bad pilot, and I have a newfound appreciation for these shows now that you understand what's at stake. And in many respects, a lot of these pilots follow a formula.
Oh, really?
Which you wouldn't normally think about, but they do. The good ones make it look like there is no formula, but there's a formula.
Gotcha.
It's interesting.
So the pilot must serve the purpose of making you curious enough to want to watch the rest of these series, right?
Absolutely. So if you have a half-hour show or an hour show, you have to make these characters or the story as engaging as possible so that people feel invested, right? So they don't have to necessarily be likable, right? Because there's this show called Succession on HBO right now.
Oh yeah.
Where it's about a family and the patriarch and his no good children. There is nobody on that show that you will like. They're all horrible, horrible people. So that formula went out the window where you have to find characters that people will like. I think they just need to be compelling. They just need to be compelling, and where you want to know what sort of shenanigans are they going to be up to next week. And then, of course, the Netflix model is very different from, say, an ABC, NBC, CBS type of show model. So it's been really fascinating, actually. And I'm learning a lot about myself and others and talk about being appreciative of other people's talents and, underestimating how much goes into something that you sort of take for granted, like, oh, of course, this is so easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult.
Girl, it's not easy to dance in heels. I'll just tell you that.
Girl, it is not easy navigating Final Cut Pro or whatever, Final Draft. I don't even know the name.
So I guess that's our takeaway of this segment, which is that, man, you won't know how hard something is until you try it. Am I right, girl?
Girl, you got to try it.
So thank you, Golda.
Thank you, Wanru.
That was an amazing
Girl, what you been up to?
Welcome to our Halloween episode. I just sounded really perverted.
You sound more creepy.
Yeah, I sound more creepy. Than scary, right?
Not bad, though. I could see you living in Transylvania or something.
Something to work towards. Anyway, so it's Halloween, almost Halloween.
Almost Halloween.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Very, what's it? Boris
Karloff?
Very Boris Karloff, yeah.
Yeah.
And so today, Golda and I are going to share our creepy,
real life
ghost stories.
Yeah.
Now, I have had the luck of not being exposed to too many, so mine will be relatively short. But I can't wait to hear Golda.
That you know of.
That one was very...
That's pretty good, right?
That was very...
It came from the diaphragm. I think that's my singing training.
It sounded like you just ate like a really good sandwich or something. Like,
oh, yeah. It's hearty. It's a hearty bacon cheeseburger.
Okay, so Golda.
Delicious.
I'm ready to be petrified.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know if it's going to be petrified more so than maybe the others creepy.
Ooh, okay.
I will have to say that, do you remember that movie, The Others, with Nicole Kidman?
Yes, I do, yes.
So for those of you who might not know about this movie came out, I want to say more than 10 years ago. Nicole Kidman is in the lead, and it takes place, I think I want to say in the 1940s or so. And it's on this family compound, and this woman has these servants and that she's suspicious of. This woman is played by Nicole Kidman. She's got 2 kids, and she's waiting for her husband to come back from the war. And every time she tries to leave the compound, it gets really foggy and she can't leave. And it's just, it's not gruesome. It's not,
it's chilling, actually. Yeah.
It's more of a psychological horror. There's nothing really, it's just creepy.
Yeah.
Super creepy. It's one of those movies that get your chicken pox, not chicken pox. What are those things called? Like chicken skin?
Yeah. Raises the hair on your arms.
Yeah, totally. So this is one of those types of stories. And it didn't happen to me specifically, but it happened to my parents.
Oh my God.
And my older sister when she was just a wee babe.
And what's your sister's name?
Her name is Blue Set.
Just add that to anything.
I mean, it's such a pretty name. I don't know why we would do the creepy laugh. But anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
So imagine, if you will, a small town in the sleepy, sleepy town of Bantayan in the Philippines. Where electricity hasn't even been invented yet.
Oh.
Not in that town, but it is in the rest of the world. Anyway, this small town has perhaps a population of about 1,200 people. Very, very small. The kind of town, if you will, that everyone knows each other. There was a woman that came to the town No one knew about her or her family, and she came looking for a job.
So before we go on, I
No,
love
okay.
I love the tone of this.
Dude, my mojo's going. My creepy
You were.
mojo's going.
You had an awesome creepy mojo.
Okay. I can get it back. I can get it back.
Can you get it back?
I can get it back. That's okay. It's okay.
To interrupt. I just want to know going forward,
Yes.
because I'm getting all into this story. This is
Don't
based.
analyze it. Here's the thing. The thing about creepy horror stories,
Don't think too much.
you can't think about it. You can't analyze it. You know, like when the teenagers are in the shed and they're hiding from the guy with the knives, and
You
you're like,
can't be
why are
like,
you in the shed?
Why don't you have cell signal?
just
Call it
just accept
Uber
it.
before
Just accept
the
it.
guy comes to murder you. No, okay. My question is, how much is what you're going to tell us based on facts?
Oh, 100%.
All right. That's what I wanted to know.
So anyway,
back to your story.
Here we come back to the Philippines and a small island of perhaps 1,200, maybe 15,000. One of those numbers. It's smallish. And a woman comes into town looking for a job. Now, this town is used to just knowing each other because generations of families have lived in this town. So everyone knows everyone. Woman comes into town about 20, 21 years old. And they ask her, what are you looking for in terms of a job? And she says, I'm looking for a job taking care of children.
Dun, dun, dun.
Coincidentally enough, my parents just gave birth to my older sister, Bluesette. And
Dun, dun.
at that time, she was about 6 months old, give or take.
I'm doing my own sound effects. I don't know why this is not necessary.
And you know what's so funny is Wanru does this in real life too when I tell her stories that aren't creepy or horrifying. Very, very handy skill. I recommend it for everyone.
Golda will be like, I took my Prius in for service. Dun, dun, dun. All right, go on. Anyway, so Bluesette
was about 6 months old. Yes. And so this young woman, who I will name Ginny, the young woman looking for a job, the young mysterious woman looking for a job named Ginny, finds out that my parents have this young 6-month-old baby, and my parents decide to hire her as as what we call a yaya, which is the Filipino term for nanny. So someone to take care of your child. And so they hire her. And at first, it went well. At first, she was your typical nanny, cleaning the baby, burping the baby, helping the baby go to sleep, helping prepare, infant formula for the baby, cleaning, laundering, etc. All those types of responsibilities she'd performed moderately well. Then one day,
that was very dramatic. She performed moderately well.
She was strongly average. One day in the evening, there was a fire. Not a fire, a fireplace.
Oh, what?
Very
Golda,
different.
Golda.
There's a very different.
What?
Different turn.
That was anticlimactic.
No,
but go ahead.
There was a fireplace in my parents' home, which I don't understand why, because it's about 100 degrees in the Philippines.
And 100% humidity.
But mind you that there's no electricity. So they used it to cook and things like that. Okay. So it was kind of like in the kitchen, and there was like a chair and a table in the kitchen with the fire kind of in the background. And so Ginny was holding my sister in her arms, feeding her, rocking her in the chair. And the way that my mom tells it is, she said in their native tongue, okay, I think we're going to put, Ginny, we're going to put Blue, to bed in a little bit. So I might want to get the bed ready. And Ginny's face changed. Her expression changed. To one of familiarity, to one of just vacant eyes, as if she had been possessed.
Oh my God.
And my mom said, "Did you hear what I said, Ginny? We're going to put Blue to bed in a little bit." And Ginny responded whilst still feeding my sister a bottle. She said, "Ginny's gone." Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my God.
My mom does not have a very good sense of humor at that age. And she said, "What?" I said, "Ginny's gone."
Oh my God.
And my mom, because she's highly intuitive, ran to Ginny, swept up my sister in her arms, and told my father. Fast forward, Ginny disappears
Oh,
for a time.
after that night.
After that night,
Oh
we
my
don't
God.
know where Ginny went. The next thing you know, a couple of days later, it's nighttime again.
Oh my God.
There's a knock on the door. My mom says, who could that be? It's so late at night. So my dad opens the door. And who's there?
Ginny.
Still in her same house dress.
Oh my God. From several days ago?
From several days ago. With that crazed expression in her eyes. And my father said, "What are you doing here? What's the matter with you? What do you want?" And she's like, "I want to see the baby."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And my father said, "No way in hell." And in this, and then what had happened since she had disappeared is the townsfolk trying to figure out where she was. And there were reports of her sort of wandering, wandering the town and, with a glazed look in her eye. And so he's like, well, just stay right there. Let me see what I can do to help you. Just stay right there. So a commotion happened where, because everyone's in everybody's business in this town. They're like, who's that? Who's that at the door? And so, townsfolk started coming together, and I think she got scared.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that my dad told it was, the next thing you know, in the Philippines, you have your house, and then surrounding the periphery of houses usually is sort of like a cinder blocked kind of fence, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Wall? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wall. And on the very top of those walls are, if you would imagine like a Coke bottle, like a glass bottle, if you break it and you glue the flat side to the top of the cinder wall so that the spiky parts of the glass are it's kind of like a barbed wire, I guess, but it's like a third world country's version of barbed wire because we can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So the way my father told it was that once she started to see all these townsfolk kind of coming towards her, she leapt on top of, like, not climbed, she leapt like in one stroke. She like kind of like Bionic Woman, like she kind of like jumped, and she jumped to the top of the cinder block gate, or what did you call it? Wall.
Mm-hmm.
And she started running across the top of the wall that had all of these glass shards right on top.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to capture her. They were trying to get her. They called the priest because they thought she was possessed.
Yeah.
It was like, anyway.
Was she barefoot running on top of this wall?
She was. She was in her house dress and she was barefoot. Like kind of like a gazelle, kind of going on, like running, through the line of the wall.
And the whole village saw her.
And the whole village saw her. And so they were chasing after her. They were finally able to get her after she like kind of ran the periphery of the wall. And they looked at her feet, and there was not a scratch on her foot.
Oh my
either one of her feet. So they were able to restrain her. And they brought a priest in, a young priest and an old priest. Anyway,
just in case.
Yeah. Anyway, and they this is third world country, so they went to that place of that she's possessed.
What did she look like when they were able to grab her?
I think she still had that sort of crazed look on her, in her eyes, and they performed their version of an exorcism. So in the Catholic religion, when you perform an exorcism, you need somebody that's like from the Vatican. You need some serious exorcism power.
It's kind of like asking for the manager at a restaurant. Like, I need to see the manager
Yeah,
now.
we didn't have a manager around, so we just got the stock boy. And he did the best he could. Anyway,
so you had a young priest and an old priest?
No, that's part of the Exorcist, the movie.
But this is giving me a lot of Blair vibes. You know, Blair's the young girl from The Exorcist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, they went through this whole thing with her, and then she eventually, got back to how she was when she first arrived, kind of a thing. So, I mean, looking back, we're all like, well, maybe she just had maybe she's schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Maybe she had some mental issues. But I guess the bit that folks were still scratching their head about was how was she able to leap on top of this is a wall that's like 8 feet tall. This is not a short wall. This is a high wall because Filipinos love their security. So this is a high wall, and she was able to leap to the top. And my dad, may his soul rest in peace, was not one to exaggerate.
Oh my goodness.
He was an engineer through and through. He's all about the details. He's all about the, he always challenged things, he always looked for the truth in things. So I heard this straight from him. So this is why this gives me pause, is he was a very straightforward, no nonsense, kind of guy. And for him to say this was something. That's the following year, my father was able to get a visa to come to America.
I would too. I would leave that village ASAP. But anyways,
yes.
Go ahead.
So, so he was able to get a visa to come to America the following year. And that was the year that The Exorcist was released.
Oh my God.
And he told me that he could not sit through that movie. It frightened him so hard because of his experience with that nanny, Ginny.
No way.
He's like, this is Hollywood, but I've seen it. I've seen something similar to this in real life. So that freaked him out. So since then, I think they no longer had a yaya. They're like, we're done with yayas. So we brought in some family members to kind of help out here.
No to yayas.
No to strangers to the town. This is before care.com and before a lot of, sort of background checks, obviously. And
oh my God.
I believe the lady, soon thereafter, a couple years later, she had no recollection of any of that. And she got married and had kids, and she's perfectly fine.
Oh.
It's not like she, you know what I mean? It's not like she went down this rabbit hole or something, and she continued with that kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's the other thing that sort of, gave everyone pause again, was if she did have, some mental illness, it only sort of surfaced during that time, and subsequent to that time, there were no other episodes at all, remotely.
Amazing.
She was perfectly normal.
Hey,
lived a normal life.
Local priest made good.
I guess I'm very that stock boy. That stock boy priest did really good. He needs to, escalate up to the Vatican there. But anyway, that's my story.
Oh my God. So, Golda, just one question.
Yeah.
How's Blue? Is Blue okay?
Well, no, she's perfectly fine. Knock on wood. She's got a great sense of humor. She has no recollection of any of this, thankfully enough.
She's not climbing any walls.
No, she's not breaking any Coke bottles just because. None of that. No, she's perfectly fine.
Oh my God, that is
weird,
such
huh?
a good. And you know what I like about it? It's firsthand.
Yeah, and from a witness that it does not fall prey to suggestion. Right. So when you hear a lot of these sort of suspicions and things, like superstitions, I should say, type of stories or ghost stories, it's always like, oh, that's because,
yeah,
they want to believe it. My dad did not want to believe this. He was from the science mind.
Gotcha.
He is the Scully in my parents' relationship.
Gotcha. Ooh, that was
just,
chilling.
Woo! What about you, Wanru? I can't wait to hear your scary story.
Okay, so this is my firsthand account.
Okay.
All right, and it may not be a ghost story. but
Oh.
it's a series of coincidences that gives you pause.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, I think I was probably in my early 30s when
Just a few years ago.
yesterday, this was more than 10 years ago when my grandmother passed away. So my maternal grandmother. And so I flew back to Taiwan with my mother, to attend the funeral and take care of all that business, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things you have to do is you have to clean out the deceased's room, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, it was a sad occasion, but it wasn't, terribly, terribly somber. I mean, I think it was nice to see my whole family. We were in good spirits. So don't take this as like, oh, we were mourning and it was just a miserable time. We were grieving, but my grandmother had been elderly. So my grandmother she had lived a long life. So we were cleaning out the room and we're going through her items, and there's a couple items we wanted to keep. And in Taiwan, they love to use these single overhead light bulbs. Sometimes it's just one, or sometimes it's just one fluorescent strip. But it's not a very, there's no ambient lighting. It's just one harsh overhead light. Stark, right?
Mm.
So we're in that room and we're cleaning out her stuff, and we're just talking about my grandma and her passing. The bulb blows out.
Ooh.
The room is just
pitch black.
pitch black.
Yikes.
Yeah. And my uncle's like, all right, let's go and get a light bulb and whatever. And I didn't say anything to anybody, but I'm like, that's my grandma's spirit in the room.
Uh-oh.
Okay. That was my feeling. I didn't say anything to anybody. I was just like, oh, let's just clean up in here. Okay. All right. I'm just going to take this. Gonna have this, grandma. Okay. Maybe it's that scarf she didn't want me to have, but I think it would have been okay. So anyways, so we cleaned up and that was it. That was more than 10 years ago. Okay. And then 2 years ago, I went back to Taiwan again, and I did not I was not in my grandmother's room. I was in my aunt's house now. So I'm in an entirely different house in Taiwan. And I was in the bathroom, just, in the bathroom, just
doing your business.
Doing my business.
Doing your business.
It's kind of getting out of the shower, and it's kind of foggy in there. And I was just,
Ooh.
whatever, brushing my hair, whatever. And I thought about my grandmother, because obviously now I'm back in Taiwan 10 years later. I'm sort of sorting through my memories of the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about that time when I was very, very young, and I visited my grandmother. And because you're a kid and you're an idiot, I was like, you know what? I don't want to stay at grandma's house. Grandma's house is old and crappy. I want to stay at auntie's house. Okay. So I remember asking my grandma if I could, instead of staying with her, if I could stay with my aunt, who had the nicer house that I liked. And she said I could, but I could tell she was very disappointed.
Aww.
I could tell that she was hurt, And so what happened was I was in the bathroom. I was by myself, and I was in that same aunt's house, the house that I wanted to go to. So I said, in my mind, I sent my grandma a message.
Oh, what did you say?
I said, Grandma, I'm so sorry. I was a stupid kid, and I didn't know what I was saying.
Oh.
And I'm sorry I didn't want to stay at your house, and I didn't think it was a bad house now as an adult. But as a kid, you just want to play video games. And, my grandma didn't have a video game console. She didn't have a nice TV or anything, I just thought it was cooler to stay at my aunt's house. So in my mind, I made an apology. The lights go out in the bathroom.
What?
And I'm in the pitch darkness of the bathroom because, the thing about Taiwan is they don't have a lot of windows in these high rises. Pitch blackness.
Wow.
Then I open the door and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like flipping the switch maniacally because I'm like, I'm just trying to turn on any light in there, right?
Wow.
And then I dry up. I leave the bathroom and I tell my aunt, I go, well, I think I have to change the bulb because, it went out, right? And inside I'm like, oh my God, that was my grandma's spirit. Again, I didn't say anything. She's like, okay, whatever. Next morning, I go to the bathroom. The light's working again.
What?
And no one changed the bulb.
What?
Because the bulb is very hard to access. It's got a screen on it and it's in the ceiling. So it's like the whole electricity went out to the bathroom.
Like a process to change that bulb.
Yeah.
And nobody did it.
It was the electrical went out just in the bathroom.
Ooh.
So
nowhere else in the house did the lights go out.
Just in the bathroom where I was.
Wow.
Doing my business and talking to my grandma like you do.
So what do you think?
All the electricity went on again in the bathroom. So I was like, wow, that's a message. My grandma got my message.
Hmm.
So my
I
story,
think she did.
I think she did too. So my story is maybe if it's a friendly spirit, you can communicate with them.
Yeah.
But if they're an unfriendly spirit, don't let them in your house.
Get the hell out of Dodge.
Get the hell out of that island.
Don't be playing.
Don't be playing. Oh, so that's my ghost story.
How lovely. I think it turned into a very heartwarming story.
And even though my heart is made of sand and stone.
Why do you say that? I don't know what that is.
Because I am now a corpse. It warmed the deepest cockles of my cold, cold heart.
Oh, your cockles.
My
Your cockles are nice and warm.
And let's end this segment with Golda just laughing us out. Good hearty laugh. Here we go.
And just like the end of Halloween 15,
15.
where Mike Myers discovers he has a child and he doesn't understand where children come from, we've come to the end of our special Halloween Scary Stories episode.
Is that actually the plot of Halloween 15?
No, but that's what I'm pitching. Don't even think about it.
Copyrighted.
Scary writers out there. So we like to talk about what we are going to take away from each episode, usually at this point, the program.
Yeah.
So I'll throw it to you, Wanru. What will you be taking away from today's episode?
First of all, your dad's story scared the bejesus out of me.
Really?
I'm never visiting that island in the Philippines. What's it called again?
Bandayan.
Well,
Now they're like a very commercial, resorty kind of a town. It's quite beautiful, actually.
I mean, if I visited that resort and a woman came knocking at my door wearing a house dress
and no shoes,
looking
for your children,
no,
not happening.
Not opening that door, room service or whatever. Just not opening the door in general. No. Besides for that, what I would took away was that, you're talking about your writing class. When you do something, you actually develop a deeper appreciation of that thing. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you don't feel like you're an expert, for example, I'm not an expert pole dancer. I'm not an expert hip hop dancer, especially not in heels. But I would suggest if you're a fan of something or you enjoy something, try it once.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do it yourself once. Just see, for the heck of it, right?
Yeah. At the very least, you're creating synapses in your brain, which will help you as you age. So you will avoid getting dementia and other mental neurological illnesses, potentially.
Exactly.
There is no foundational basis for that. I have no theories or testing to support that.
Sounds right to me. Yeah. And how about you, Golda? What will you take away?
Well, I mean, definitely what you just mentioned for sure. And on top of everything else, I think I was moved by the connection that you still have to your grandmother. And, whether, any which way you take this, whether it was just a fluke or I highly doubt that, given that it's happened twice.
You know what my friend Albert said?
What did he say?
I guess Taiwan has bad electricity.
It's like your mom's outside by the electrical wall. She's flipping it. She's fucking with you.
She's the breaker keeps popping. She keeps turning it off and on. Bad electrical circuits. A bad electrical system in Taiwan is what Albert thinks. But,
yeah. But I like this this thought, this sense, this notion that you're still connected with the ones that you love, and in whatever way that remembrances of them manifest, it's always going to be a blessing, even though it might scare the shit out of you. But still, it's a nice way to stay connected. Or at least in your heart and in your mind.
Yeah, and if you got to get the shit scared out of you, let it be in the bathroom.
The bathroom is the worst. But okay.
What?
It's scary. Everything scary happens in the bathroom. I'm just giving you some insight to my bathroom practices. Anyway, well, if you've enjoyed today's episode, we encourage you to share the program with all of your friends and family, to like us on Facebook, on Instagram, and everywhere else. And just so you know, we also are available on YouTube if you want to see what we look like and see what we wear and our expressions. It's a whole other experience.
Yeah, and then how sexy Golda looks with her black satin top today.
Hey, yes. And how totally breathtaking Wanru looks in her black stripe and green blouse.
And if you want to share the podcast, you can find us on every podcast provider out there. So Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Stitcher, Overcast, Spotify. We're everywhere. And you can listen to us, as we've been told, on commutes to work, to and from work, at the gym, on hikes, I think I've heard too. And then just like in the house as people are like making their meals for the day or cleaning or something, or just chilling out, just chillaxing.
Just don't listen to this episode alone
and in the dark.
Oh, that's been our show. We're gonna get like sword larynxes after this. How do they do it? How do these like vampires do it?
We gotta leave it to the professionals, because we're gonna get like lozenged. We need to get some lozenges after this. But anyway, I'm Golda.
I'm Wanru.
This has been the Ganru Show. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.